Hello, everybody. We are here on another edition of Ask Ron. I have Ron and his entire Quick Start Real Estate School class here in Jacksonville, Florida, here to answer your questions.
Yeah, good looking group.
Great looking group, I couldn't say.
Most of them.
All right, we're going to start with Tony and Angie Stewart.
Oh, good old Tony and Angie every week.
All right, Ron, looking back on your experience training Adel as your acquisitionist, what are you most glad you did in bringing him up to effectiveness? And what would you do differently if you had to do it again?
I think what I did right was pick the right guy. And I had a little local group here I was working with, and he had some experience in wholesaling, so that kind of made it easy. And then I think the second thing that I did was let the guy do his thing without bugging him every day. Every other day maybe, but not every day. So Al, why don't you come up here and answer that question? All right, I'm bringing Al up here. He's standing here back in the class working with these folks all week. And I think the question was, what did I do right?
That's right. That's essentially the question.
When I hired you?
What'd you do right? I do agree with you. Kind of let me do my thing is probably the best route for someone like me. You know, I wouldn't want to be micromanaged every day. Right. So I do think that was a plus. And even though it doesn't seem that way, he's very patient. It doesn't come off that way. It could be a little rough around the edges, but at the end of the day, he's very, very patient. And I always will be indebted to Ron for giving me that leeway to learn on his money. which is the truth. So
you guys see the cartoon about the two buzzards flying around? One of them looks at the other one and says, "Patience, hell, I'm going to kill something." Yeah. I don't have any patience. I'm just slower than I used to be.
All right, Tony and Angie's next question. Are there any changes you anticipate making in how you do business because of the big, beautiful bill?
No, because I've learned that I can buy houses in any economy at any time, regardless of the economy outside. In fact, I can make a case that the worse the economy gets, the easier it is for us to buy houses. And the easier it is for us to sell houses since we're selling them with lease options. Because I've been through that 2 or 3 times already. I've had 6 downturns in my career. The worst was 08. Never stopped me from buying houses. People always need to sell and others always need to buy. And when I started, prime rate was 16.8%. If I could do deals in that, I can do deals in any kind of economy. Of course, that was 1982. Prices were cheaper then.
Right.
But on the other hand, so was the income.
That's
Okay.
right. All right, Adam John from Nebraska is next. If we get and confirm a no lead for terms, but find the seller is motivated to sell for all cash and we can get a big discount on the purchase price, what is your go-to strategy for this type of situation?
Private lenders. Private lenders, which Jay Connor's going to be talking about tomorrow. If it's cash and you're going to buy it, it's private lenders. But remember, you don't have to buy it. Put it under contract and assign the contract to your buyer who wants to buy it in rehab. Then you don't have any closing costs. In other words, you're selling a piece of paper for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. That's what you're selling.
Nice. Here's another question. Is it possible with a straight option to get the property on the MLS? And what are your thoughts here?
It would require the seller's permission, but yes.
Simple answer, I like that. Next up, Tim Matthews from Illinois. How do I determine a fair price for a property being sold for $1 million when there are no similar properties to use as comps nearby?
You let the market tell you. If you got a contract on it, you got it under control, you got to figure out what you want to ask, because I do name the asking price. And then they'll tell you if it's too much. But I honestly, you say there's no comps. If you got it under contract, first thing I'd do is have an appraiser do that one. So not only I know what it's worth, but I got evidence for other buyers as well. Very seldom do I hire an appraiser, but I do when I'm not sure of the order.
Gotcha. And he says, is there any specific acquisition strategy that works better for houses at this price point?
You'll discover quickly that people that own $1 million houses got the same problems that people that own $200,000, except they're larger problems. People have a tendency to bite off more than they can chew, but now just think about all the other things that can go wrong. I mean, health, divorce, job change, income reduction, all that stuff can cause people to get motivated long after they bought the property. And on a $1 million house today, at 6-7% interest, that's a pretty stiff payment. And a lot of people, they get this pie in the sky notion that everything's going to change when they get this big house. Pretty soon they discover it's no different than the smaller house, just more house to clean is all, and more house for your spouse to store junk in. Ask me how I know that one. Then they come to the conclusion, man, I really can't afford to live here because of the high payments, because of the high interest rates. And that's one thing. Those interest rates are going to come down. You can count on it, right? And that means that people are going to be doing a lot of refinancing. And I change with the market. When the market changes, I change with it. I told you guys 2 weeks ago, one of the big plays right now for us is to find houses with low equity. People gladly give them to you to get out of them, and then you can turn right around and put lease option tenant buyers in them, get $10,000-15,000. May not get any cash flow because when you take these payments over, they're going to be high. Because these houses are going to be somewhere between 1 to 3 years is all the time that the seller's been in the house. And that technically doesn't make any sense. Why would anybody want to be that desperate 2 years after they buy the house? Same stuff. Figure out they can't afford it or something drastically has changed in their life. And again, don't make assumptions of what people are going to do. I've learned a long time ago not to figure out what the market's going to be because it teaches me what it is when I do things that I shouldn't be doing because I don't know what the market will do. And remember, I always name the price, but I never name the down or the monthly. Never. The market's going to tell me what it'll pay, and I'm going to play the market. In fact, Saturday I'm doing an open house for one from 12 to 1, and a house that I got for free. For free, I mean, I did a wraparound mortgage to the seller, but I didn't put any money in the deal except closing costs. And I'm offering that house. You can buy it all cash, you can buy it getting a new loan, or you can buy it on lease purchase. I don't know how you can get more flexible than that. And they're going to bid, if they're going to get a loan on it, they're going to bid on the price of the house. And so I'm not even naming the price of the house on this one. You know, that's rare I do that, but I want to see how it works out. So you guys keep looking because we're going to video this thing, and if I get enough people there, I'm going to release the video. If I don't, you're never going to hear about it again. Okay?
All right, we're going to end this week's edition of Ask Ron with a humorous joke from Michael Cellini.
Michael.
He says, why can't the bankrupt farmer complain? Drum roll.
I don't know.
Because he's got no beef.
Jeez. That's corny. All right. I'll see you all next week. Get out there and get something done. And get in this class as soon as you can. If you want to really get to work buying and selling houses the right way.
That's right. Thanks, Ron.